The FDA, I don't know if there would be much argument here, but increasingly the FDA is being scrutinized by the American people. American people who want to be healthy, American people who want to have food choice, okay? American people that would just like to be able to eat healthy food and know what's in it do not trust the FDA to tell them. I wonder why. Government agency, corporate donors, corporate revolving door, just like in USDA and just like in GIPSA, a revolving door that benefits the people that are participating and not the people that fund it. So, you know, FDA is a huge, huge problem. And the EPA, of course, I don't need to talk about the EPA in 6th District. The EPA is becoming increasingly, you know, basically a jackbooted thug that will enter your property, you know, GPS your wells, test your water, and then charge you for it. You know, this is all under no congressional law, but under executive desire to reshape, let's just say the 6th District, but of course, you know, it's reshaping far more than the 6th District. So, you know, I'm for really reining in and reducing and redirecting those resources. But when I say redirect, I want to clarify one thing, and I'll jump in here and interrupt myself. None of the money saved, and there would be lots of money saved. If we went back to constitutional government, lots of money would be saved. First off, you wouldn't need the 16th Amendment. You would need the income tax of all the people that pay. It simply not be necessary. So that money would never go to government. You can keep the 16th Amendment, okay? But if you reduce the government spending, the money should be given back to the people. Ideally, you don't have this, you repeal the 16th, and that money is never handed to government, because you cannot trust the government to take that money and do anything wise with it. And this goes for states, states as well, as we know. You know, the money goes into a big pot, and it's used as the politicians see fit, not in any accountable way to the people. So any money saved by any of these proposals that I have and that I make headway on, and they're not totally unpopular in Congress even. If we had a few more people advocating and arguing and standing up for what's right, you would see some of this stuff happen. Any money saved goes right back to the people. It does not go to pay a debt. It does not go to support new spending. It doesn't go for some vague accounting of collateral in which to borrow more money. It doesn't go for that. It goes back to the people. I simply do not trust the government with my money or my assets or anything else. And really, they've earned that contempt. The government has earned that contempt. If it never had it before, it has earned it in the past 20 or 25 years. Federal Reserve Bank assets need to be distributed to regional reserve banks, which can be run privately. This is well known if anybody's read Ron Paul's book on it. But even Federal Reserve governors themselves understand that to eliminate the Federal Reserve is very simple. You just get rid of the head. Those regional banks can function competitively, most of them. And you guess what? Those that can't are not too good to fail. They should fail. So there's that. That needs to happen, and that's a redirection, a decentralization. Savings back to the people, I mentioned already. Resources associated with Obamacare and the related and very similar Republicare. Okay, so don't kid yourselves that the Republicans opposed Obamacare. There's a reason Goodlatte voted to fund it. Okay, as many Republicans did. This is, you know, this is very much in line with the Republicans. It's just that they can't take credit for it as long as we know it as Obamacare. They can use it as a poker stick against Obama, which is fine. But they can't stand up and say they've offered anything different because they have not. And this unfortunately, is a socialization of our health care, and the absence of a really true free market in health care is something all of us and our grandparents have grown up with for the most part and accept as normal. You know, one of the reasons talking about reducing Medicare and Medicaid is problematic for you know, old people today and Americans today is that we think that entitlement actually works, and that just shows how ignorant we are about how the free market in healthcare can work. And I'll tell you this: I don't know how many people wear glasses here. I am not wearing my glasses, but I'm you know, visually impaired, and so I wear glasses. And I pay, and this is not a sales pitch for any particular company, and I won't even name the company, but I order my glasses online, and I pay $12. Okay, that is a result of a free market in optometry, okay? Because for a long time, not necessarily today, but for a long time, for many years, optical was not covered under most insurance plans. So if you needed glasses, you had to pay for them. And guess what we have in terms of choice in glasses, okay? And surgeries relating to eliminating the need for glasses, okay? Having LASIK, we have 4 or 5 different techniques all of which are affordable. You can pay for, if you can get I hate to say this, I don't want to pick on anybody that may have had a breast enhancement or a breast reduction, but that's plastic surgery. We consider it to be optional surgery, you know, to make, yeah, elective surgery. Well, it's more expensive to get plastic surgery than it is to get your eyes fixed. Okay? So this is a great thing. This is to credit the free market. You can get contacts that you throw away every 24 hours. And they're affordable for average people, middle class people, single income people. You can pay for these contacts. You can buy cheap glasses. Okay? So why? Because we have experienced in our lifetime a free market. In healthcare, for God's sake, it works great. It actually works. And you know what? No old ladies and poor people on the street are deprived of glasses. Because when glasses are available on the free market, we can actually help other people who even can't afford $12 for glasses. Because you know what? I'm okay with paying $12 and giving somebody some glasses because it's not going to break my bank to do that. So you know, free market in healthcare is a beautiful thing. We can talk about nutritional supplements. We can talk about diet aids, which are, you know, horrendous advertisements for them. We can talk about sexual aids on TV. That all this unregulated stuff, lots of choice. You know, and you know, are there bad things out there? But you know what? We trust people. We trust people. We trust the marketplace. We trust the ability, and it's never been greater to communicate a good product, a bad product. How many options do we have to discuss on the internet? What's good and what works and what's not good? What's a good thing? I mean, it's just crazy to think we can't have free market in medicine, but we do not have that. We have not grown up with it, and neither Republicans or Democrats are willing to even look honestly at the problem. We need a free market in healthcare. We don't need Republicare, and my biggest fear, and something that if I'm elected, if I have an opportunity, elected or as a citizen, to speak out against Republicare, which is sure to come, and it will be 90% Obamacare, minus a few things with a few little twists to make it look conservative. We need to stand up against that. That is just crazy. So anyway, I didn't need to run on there with my free market in healthcare, but I think we have real examples all around us that we're just not seeing, and we're not recognizing for what they are. Another thing that's not covered often, what about the beautiful teeth, right? Everybody wants beautiful teeth. Are they affordable? Increasingly so. Increasingly, they are affordable. Because why? There's a quasi-free market in dental care. Quasi. Again, increasingly covered by insurance that is a managed marketplace dictated to by the federal government. So, you know, free markets will be the solution. Social Security and Medicare, we cannot pay it. Lots of things that need to be looked at there. I agree with Ron Paul, of course, that people who are currently receiving it and who are dependent upon it, they should not be worried. They will be taken care of. You know, I hate to use the word compassionate conservatism. It is meaningless in the mouth of Republicans, but compassion does exist and justice exists. And people that have been led down a primrose path, unfortunately, maybe it's not completely their fault. We all wanted that primrose path. For the rest of us who are paying 8 to 10% of our incomes in Social Security and won't receive it, and that's most people in this room, I'm sorry to say, because you look pretty young to me for the most part. Those people who are not yet drawing it and who are not immediately upon retirement, this super artificial retirement age that we've established for ourselves, we need to be able to opt out, and I don't mean opt out into a federally managed retirement program. That's subsidizing more spending by the federal government. They count that as their money. That's money they stole from us that's now theirs, they say. So, you know, we need to be able to end the program in a graceful way. Now, let me say this, very much similar to the way the DOD budget will end. We can either do it gracefully and with a sense of justice and equity, or right and righteousness, or we can just let the money run out. And if we let the money go out, if we let that train run off the tracks, okay, and we don't know which way it's going to go, we're not even looking, we're looking out the back of the caboose thinking, oh, what a pretty view that was, okay? If we don't plan for it, what will happen is the least able to defend themselves in the chaos that will occur as it collapses, as the pyramid scheme, the Ponzi scheme that Social Security is indeed. When that collapses, if we don't plan for that collapse, the poor people and the older people who have become dependent, who weren't wise to the nature of government lies, these people will take it in the shorts. These people will be sacrificed. They will be crushed. So it is very, very important to manage the end of Social Security as we know it. And there's lots and lots of solutions. The guy talking to you just yesterday said anybody 45 and younger ought to be able to be bought out, just as you would an auto employee that you don't want to continue with. And probably, if the government did it, they'd probably, you know, lose money on the buyout, but that would be fine. Somehow, the program has to end, and it should end gracefully. And I think people that are honest and understand what it means should be the ones doing it. Quite frankly, I don't want my 18-year-old deciding, because I know how they're going to decide. They're going to stop paying, and they're going to flip the bird to anybody who's receiving it. They don't care, they don't understand, they're very angry, they're frustrated, they see it honestly as the theft that it is. I'd rather say, let the 40-year-olds decide, perhaps, let the 50-year-olds decide, because we have ties a little bit closer to our parents, and we love our children. And this is why Social Security has to be addressed, because we do love our parents and we do love our children. So, very important issue. Paychecks and retirement plans for Congress, senior executive service personnel, federal employees will need to freeze, and I will promote a bill to do that. Interestingly enough, Gifford, remember Representative Gifford, she's been shot in the hospital. She hasn't served in Congress since she's recovering. Right before she had her, she was a victim of this spree shooting or whatever it was. She had proposed a bill in the House, which has been sitting there totally unattended, which surprises me because she's been in the news. 5% pay cut for members of Congress. This is 5%. It should be 50%, but it's 5% to start. Here she is, a sympathetic figure, a Democrat. Okay? Not a single Republican has touched that bill and advocated that type of a pay cut, even 5%. So I would definitely, pick up that and run with it. But what I would really like to do is, of course, modify it to increase that level. Retirement programs should not be available for anyone who is serving an elective office, and I would extend that to presidents. They are public servants, as they so often remind us, and that means you don't have a retirement plan. Okay, healthcare plan, whatever they vote on is good enough for them. And so not what they vote on for themselves, but what they pass and force on the rest of them. So if Obamacare is such a great idea and we have to pass it so we can find out what's in it, I think they should be the first ones to find out what's in it, considering they voted for it. So anyway, huge issue there that I think is a popular issue. It's minor in terms of cost savings, but it is a symbolic gesture that these guys work for us. We don't work for them. So there's that. Now, reining in government, I've covered a lot of this. I think we should have real transparency in documents, actions, and legislation, and of course I would work for that. I think the Read the Bill Act, there's actually 3 acts with Downsize DC. I know y'all are familiar with downsizedc.org. They're a great little advocacy site for smaller government. 3-part program that they have. 1, they would like the congressman to actually read the bills. This is nice. Who didn't think they were reading the bill? I thought for many years they read the bills. Who knew? They don't read the bills. The second part of that legislation that they're working on has to do with writing the bills. I thought the congressmen and their staffs, quite expensive and extensive staffs, oh by the way, actually wrote the bills. They don't. These bills are written by interested parties. Some of those parties are, let's say, environmental groups, okay? Let's say defense industry lobbyists, conservative and liberal think tanks. These, APAC, for example, they write bills that serve their purpose, and they hand them off to their favorite little congressman, and that is how laws come. And of course, that we like to think that they read those bills, which they don't. So, reading the bills, actually writing the bills, and developing those bills. And the third part of Downsize DC's proposal to really make government more honest and more constitutional is to mandate that if they're voting on something, it is named properly and it covers a single issue. Now, this sounds very logical. We had an example here right before I started talking. You said, well, we've got a speaker. He's given us a choice of several topics. Let's decide which topic we like. That's very singular. There's lots of things to talk about there. There's many different topics. There's many issues. There's many concerns. We can talk all day on that. Maybe we can talk all week on that before you decide. But you know what? It's a single topic, and you can really delve into it. It's the right way to do business. It's certainly the way business does business, okay? It's the way organizations do business, and it ought to be the way that Congress does business. You want transparency. You can't have transparency when you've got 1,000-page bills that no one has read, that refer to partial sentences in other documents that you'll never be able to find, okay? And you've got 48 hours to do it. That's crazy. Single topic bills. Anyway, Downsize DC,